Morning, and I'm heading back out to Virginia today, so I'm doing uh, an early Dow of the day, and I'm expecting that we're going to do this pretty quietly. I think it's going to go under the radar, but if you're looking for it, you can always find it at Dow of the Day over on Spotify or Anchor. Because these recordings are getting turned into a podcast, and I just post them. I don't do a lot of advertising for them, but if you're looking for a little something something, you can always head over to Spotify and check it out. I've been having some really great kind of, I don't want to say awakening moments or anything, but I've been having some really good inner dialogue recently, and so I'm excited to continue that work. And I do believe that what's been helping me a lot is that I've been here doing Tao of the Day regularly, and I want to be able to do it with you. So if you do have a number between 1 and 81 you'd like to share, join me and we can talk about Tao of the Day. I'm going to pick 49 today, and 49 states, "The master has no mind of her own. She works with the mind of the people. She is good to people who are good. She is also good to people who aren't good. This is true goodness. She trusts people who are trustworthy. She also trusts people who aren't trustworthy. This is true trust. The master's mind is like space. People don't understand her. They look at her and wait. She treats them like her own children." So initially, this to me is, of course I've read this before, but one of the things that really kind of pops out to me is like treating them like your own children. I recently met a woman who does solo mom. I believe it's, I don't know the exact. It's solo moms on Instagram, and she is here on Wisdom, and her name escapes me for the moment, but it's Kelly Swenson. So Kelly, um, posted something on Instagram recently that talked about how in your head you could, as a mother, right? You could really judge yourself in the space that you're in the space, because you know things aren't perfect, and yet you can look at your children and see that they're actually having a good time and they're enjoying themselves and they're loving. And so you could try to look at it through their eyes, and it reminded me as to how much, because I don't have children, how much a mother can love their children. And so this one, like, when your child lies, or when your child isn't trustworthy, or when your child isn't good, you still love them. That's the unconditional love that we want to have for each other, and that's the unconditional love that we want to spread in the world. So that's my initial thought of this 49. So we're going to go through this line by line, and we're going to see if there's anything more here for us to glean. So the master has no mind of her own. She works with the mind of the people. So that's interesting, especially as we relate that back to the story I was telling that Kelly told, right? This idea that, like, oh, like, you don't have to judge yourself. You can be here with your child and say, oh, they're cool. Like, it's cool, like, that we're here in this moment together. And it's not so much that I've done something wrong, or something's not right. It is like, this moment is exactly as it is. And so you could you could you don't have to be moved by the mind of the people, but you work with the mind of the people. And you try, and like, there are those lines in here that, we as masters are able to take things away so that you can be present here. It's more along the lines of being present in this moment than it is trying to decipher or understand what how to judge this moment. So, um, yeah, and then it goes on to say, she is good to the people who are good. She is also good to those who aren't good. This is true goodness. And then she says the same thing about trust. So there's good and there's trust. Now, these words may be used because we're looking at children, right? Like there's the good child and there's the bad child, or the child who isn't good, right? There is no reference to untrustworthy, and there is no reference to bad. She is good to people who are good. She is also good to people who aren't good. This is true goodness. She trusts people who are trustworthy. She also trusts people who aren't trustworthy. This is true trust. And by recognizing that it's not that the children are bad, they just aren't good at this moment. And by being good, when I talk about my recovery, I often talk about this space of, oh, well, my recovery involves this space of me not being good, or me um, not being trustworthy. But when I was treated with respect, when I was treated as if I was good and as if I was trustworthy, that's when the initial light went on for me to realize that I had value. And I think that this is such an important aspect to how we treat other people. If you love someone else only because they love you back in a way that you want them to, well, that's not true love. If you love somebody regardless of how they love you back, or regardless of if they love you back, that's true love. And that's what brings us back to that. She treats them like her own children. I want to treat everybody that I interact with in this way. I don't want to say like my children, because that's weird, right? But I do want to say that I want to treat people in this way, that like what I want to show or give to you is not dependent on what you show or give to me. That becomes transactional. So what I want to do is I want to be good to you. I want to trust you. I want to love you in the way that I love. And when that is redefined, and when that is, reestablished or whatever, like that's fine. I still want to uphold me throughout the whole thing. I don't want to fold or capitulate to the desires of other people. Of course, I want to respect the desires of other people, but I don't want to withhold good or withhold trust or withhold love from someone simply because they have decided that maybe I'm not worthy of their love. And that's okay. Or I'm not worthy of their trust. Or just because they aren't good. Just because they do something one day, right? Like if I loved someone my whole life and then I found out they were a murderer, to go to the extreme, would although I would realize that I didn't know this person. Yes, that would be true, but that doesn't mean that they don't deserve love, because there was a part of that person that I loved, and that part is still there. And although they are now I know that they are a murderer. They were always a murderer, possibly. And now I know that, and that's the only thing that's changed, is what I know. Right? So when you go and you treat someone good, you do that not because they are good or not good, but because you are good. You trust people not because they are trustworthy or untrustworthy or not trustworthy. You trust them because you can trust. You are good. You are full of love. You are full of patience. You are full of these things that you offer people. And that is why other people can benefit from them. The master's mind is like space. People don't understand her. I can't tell you how many times people have asked me, why are you nice to them? They're not nice to you. I was walking with somebody in Chicago, and like we passed the homeless man, and I told him, and I put my hands together over my chest, and I said, "I love you," like, and like, as a blessing. Like, of course I did. That is, that's what we all should do, because we're all out here, and we want to know that we're loved. And people don't understand that. People don't understand, like, if you're not going to get anything out of it, why are you doing it? Well, it's about doing it. It is doing it that gets me everything. It isn't it isn't it isn't the expectation that is the goal. It isn't getting what one expects, right? Like if you're good to someone who isn't good, that could hurt you. And that's okay. There's nothing there's nothing wrong with being hurt. There's a lesson in there. And if you are hurt, it's a lesson for you. And that's something that can help you grow. So we should all be, like, actually looking in the world for places where we could be hurt, not looking for places where we could be aggrieved, but looking for places where it's like, oh, I trusted someone this much and they hurt me. I wonder, does that mean I need to crawl into my hole, or do I need to trust even more? Was there a place that I wasn't trustworthy? Was there a place that I wasn't being honest? They look to her and wait. She treats them like her own children. And that's what we want, right? We want people to look to us and know that within us is so much respect for who they are, so much love for who they are, so much appreciation for who they are. And 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 that we can give them that without asking for anything, just by being here, just by being in love with ourselves. We can treat people good, we can trust people, we can do these things that are so above and beyond for normal people, for most people. We are masters here, and we can love deeply. Thank you. This has been a Recover Yourself production. I'm your host, Martin John. This is the Tao of the Day. I invite you to join me on Wisdom in the mornings, sometime weekdays, and join me and pick a number between 1 and 81. I'm always open to having you on. This week I am traveling, so I am doing this very early so I can head out to O'Hare. I want to let you guys know that I have workshops coming up. These workshops are all about the work that I talk about. It's all about really recovering yourself, recovering your true self, your true identity, that which is in you, and, aching to get out. And it's about living under the influence of others. It's about trying to get out from under the influence of others. I also have my podcast, Recover Yourself, and I work with individuals one-on-one, limited number, but I only work with you for 4 times. So I take 10 clients a month, and I do have slots open this entire year. So if anybody's interested in working together, contact me through martinjohn.com, spelled as it is here on Wisdom, and you will, you'll, uh, the work I do is stellar, if I do say so myself. And you will know yourself in a whole new way. Within 1 month, you'll be changing out all the things in your life that don't make sense, and start living a life that is yours completely. All right. Well, this is once again a Recover Yourself production, and I'm your host, Martin John. Until next time, keep recovering yourself.